Are you sick and tired of that stubborn fat? You know, the stuff around your belly, your hips, your love handles? What if I told you there was a way, a simple, three-step plan, really, to finally tap into it in less than a week? And here's the best part, you're not going to have to count a single calorie. All right, let's get into it.
So the guy who came up with this protocol, Ben Azadi, he really gets it. He's been there. I mean, he started out at 250 pounds and 34% body fat, which is classified as obese. Using the exact methods we're about to break down, he got himself all the way down to just 6% body fat. And what's really incredible, he did this 16 years ago and the weight has stayed off. So you know this isn't some quick fix diet. This is a real lasting solution.
So, what's the big secret here? What did he figure out? Well, it's all about a major shift in focus. We're going to completely forget that old, outdated idea of calories in, calories out. Instead, we're going to laser focus on what really controls fat storage and fat burning. And that, my friends, is your hormones.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about the actual problem with stubborn fat. Then we'll walk through the 3 simple steps: controlling your insulin, fighting inflammation, and mastering your timing. And at the very end, I'll tie it all together for you in a super simple weekly action plan. Right. Before we jump into the how, we really need to understand the why. See, there are 2 main villains in this story, the 2 things that are holding you back. First, there's a hormone called insulin. And second, there's a state of chronic inflammation. These 2 are the real culprits.
Let's start with insulin. Now, you've got over 600 hormones in your body. But get this, insulin is the only one that directly tells your body to store fat. You can think of it like the bully on the block. Whenever insulin shows up and its levels are high, all your other fat-burning hormones, they just run and hide. So here's the main takeaway. High insulin equals fat storage. Low insulin equals fat burning. It really is that simple.
So that leads us right into step 1, which is probably the most important one. If we're going to flip that switch and turn our bodies into fat-burning machines, we have to get our insulin under control. And how do we do that? By being smart about the foods that make it spike in the first place. Okay, take a look at this. This chart tells you everything you need to know. You've got your 3 main macronutrients, right? Carbs, protein, and fat. And you can see it clear as day. Carbohydrates cause this huge insulin spike. It's massive. Protein, just a tiny little bump. And healthy fat? Pretty much nothing. It's a flat line. This shows us exactly what we need to target.
So what does this actually mean for your grocery list? Well, we've got to cut out the foods that send insulin soaring. And this might surprise you because it includes a lot of so-called health foods, things like oats, any kind of bread or grain, most fruits and especially fruit juices, rice, potatoes, beans, all of that. We're going to swap them for things that keep insulin low and stable. Think cauliflower rice, eggs, good quality red meat like beef and lamb, and especially fatty fish. There's a great acronym for this, SMASH fish. That's sardines, mackerel, anchovies, salmon, and herring. And of course, quality chicken and turkey. These are the foods that turn on fat burning.
Okay, so you've got your insulin under control. That's huge. But it's only half the battle. We still have to deal with that second villain, chronic inflammation. Because here's the thing. Inflammation can completely block your body's ability to burn fat even when your insulin is low. This is the missing piece for so many people.
I love this analogy. Think of it like this. Your fat-burning hormones are shouting messages at your cells, yelling, "Hey, burn fat for fuel." But when your cells are all inflamed, it's like their ears are plugged. It's like trying to talk into a muffled microphone. The signal's being sent, but the message just isn't getting through. And the result, that stubborn fat, isn't going anywhere.
And where is all this inflammation coming from? A lot of the time, it's hiding in plain sight in our food. Get ready for this. One study found that a single 5-ounce serving of French fries, you know, the kind cooked in those typical vegetable oils, can have the same inflammatory effect on your body as smoking 20 to 25 cigarettes. I mean, that's insane, right? That's how damaging these oils are.
So, just like before, the solution is another big swap. It's time to clean out the pantry. We're getting rid of all those unstable, inflammatory seed oils. That means canola, corn, soybean, safflower, all of them. And we're going to replace them with stable, healthy fats to cook with, like good old-fashioned butter, ghee, beef tallow, even duck fat. For things like salad dressings, you want to use avocado oil or a good quality olive oil.
And hey, the same idea applies to sweeteners. Those artificial ones like Splenda, which is sucralose, and aspartame, they can really mess with your gut and ramp up inflammation. The much better move is to go for natural options like monk fruit, allulose, or stevia.
Simple swaps like these make a huge difference in cooling down that inflammation.
Okay, we're almost there. You're controlling insulin with what you eat. You're fighting inflammation by swapping your fats and sweeteners. The third and final piece of the puzzle is mastering when you eat. See, every single time you eat, even a small healthy snack, you get an insulin response. So the goal here is to create dedicated windows of time where insulin is nice and low, giving your body a chance to really get into fat-burning mode.
And look how simple this schedule is. We're only talking about Monday through Friday here. You'll have your first meal around 8 a.m., your second around noon, and your last meal at 6 p.m. That's it. The most important rule, no snacks in between meals. That 4-hour gap between breakfast and lunch and the 6-hour gap between lunch and dinner, those become your golden primetime fat-burning windows.
Now, to go along with this timing, there's just one more guideline for those weekdays. Keep your total carbs for the day under 100 grams. You can split that up however you want between your 3 meals, and just remember, 100 grams is the ceiling. The lower you can get, the faster you're going to see the results you want.
All right, let's put it all together. Let's look at the big picture. What does a full week actually look like on this plan? The whole point is that it's not just effective, it's also flexible, something you can actually stick with for the long haul.
Okay, here's your whole weekly plan in a nutshell. Monday through Friday, you're on the protocol. That means 3 meals, roughly between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. Absolutely no snacking, you keep in carbs under 100 grams, and you're focusing on all those good protein and fat swaps we talked about. But then the weekend comes, and what do? You relax. You're flexible. Don't stress about the meal timing. Don't worry about counting carbs. Go out with friends. Enjoy your life. That's what makes this whole thing sustainable.
You know, when you boil it all down, this whole approach really makes you ask yourself a powerful question. Are you trying to lose weight just to get healthy, or are you focused on getting your body healthy first so that losing weight becomes the natural result? Because that's what this is all about. It's about healing your metabolism, lowering that insulin, cooling down the inflammation, and when you do that, your body finally says, okay, I'm ready to let this fat go.